Now, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute and sit right there and tell you how I negotiated Facebook and Google. In Seattle, Washington, I wasn't born or raised. In the office, I spent most of my days. Interning out, maxing, relaxing, real cool, shooting some ping pong out there by the micro kitchen. What is going on, guys? It's your boy Void here. Today we are talking about Facebook, Google, negotiating, all of the good stuff, and I'm going to dive right into it. It was in college, spring 2020, I took the semester off. That way, since I had an offer from Google and Facebook for an internship. So I decided to do Facebook in the spring and then Google in that following summer. And this is all leading up to my negotiation stuff. Just have to give y'all some background information. I started with Facebook and I fast forward 12 weeks when the internship is ending. They let me know that they would like me back. They give me a full-time offer. And what Facebook does for performance levels, they give like different compensation packages based off of how they rated your performance against other interns. So I was above like the meets expectations to get an offer, but below like the highest level. So there's like 3 levels: meet expectation, exceed expectations, and like greatly exceeds. A lot of people call it rock star. Don't know why. Anyways, so they ended up giving me, and here's where things are going to get interesting, because it always gets a little more interesting once we start talking about the numbers. So they ended up giving me $118,000 a year with a 10% expected target bonus for meeting my expectations, a $70,000 signing bonus, 160,000 RSUs or stocks. So that was a really good offer. It's the only full-time offer I had ever gotten, and it was just so high. I was so excited, but I didn't know that I had my Google internship coming up, and my deadline for Facebook was October 18th, and that was like a deadline set by my school. They had to abide by this policy since they recruited me through the school. So I get through my internship with Google, and I don't hear back on whether I'm going to get a full-time offer. The internship's already ended at this point. It's like, what month are we in? Let's say August. So in August, I hear basically nothing. They tell me that it's going to take a little while because the way they do their process, they have like a committee of people look at my application and look at my work. That way that they try to eliminate like any bias that there might be. And that I understood that. That sounds pretty good to me. So that the month of August passed. I didn't hear back. I wasn't too worried because I still had September, the whole month of September, and some of October. I believe it was September, mid to late September. I still hadn't heard back, but Facebook started talking to me again. They're like, hey, we wanted to hear what you were thinking about your offer. And so I ended up calling them. I was like, hey, I was actually wondering, since I am expecting this Google offer, is there any way that I could get any kind of increase on like my stocks or maybe signing bonus, something like that? And they weren't able to move much. They had this policy in place where they couldn't move salary or stocks because they had already done it to performance level. So they ended up giving me an extra $5,000 in signing bonus, bringing me to $75,000 signing bonus. Google, I still do not hear back, and it is the first week of October. I've emailed them at this point 2 or 3 times asking for an update and have not heard anything. At this point, I'm getting a little worried. Though they did tell me the first week of October that I passed the hiring committee and now I'm waiting for product area placements. Now, that sucked for me because if the hiring committee took so long, what are the chances that I'm going to get through to a product area before my Facebook offer expires? And at this point, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to go with Facebook. They're my only offer. I really liked working for them. Neither of them were bad. Like, it was a great position to be in. I was very fortunate to have both of these offers. Google ended up coming a little clutch at the very end, very last second. So I think it was 2 days before my offer deadline. It was like October 15th or 16th. They email me. They say, hey, we know that you have a deadline. We're going to try to get you your offer before then. And I was like, before then? There's 2 days left. Like, and they're weekends. Like, how possible is this? Is it most likely going to happen? And they're just like, we're going to try our best. And I was like, okay, thank you guys so much for like trying to speed things up a little. So now we're on October 17th. I believe it's a Saturday. Yeah, so it's a Saturday. I just had to double check that real quick. But so now we're on a Saturday, and I'm like, man, there's no way I'm going to be getting my offer letter on a Saturday. Well, I'm wrong, and I'm very glad to be wrong about it. So they sent me an offer letter on Saturday. I actually had given them the numbers for Facebook prior to them sending me an initial offer letter, which I usually would not advise, but I was on such a time crunch that I needed to make sure that whatever their offer was at least matching it. Because if they had given me an offer letter with lower numbers, I would have, if the offer was like a lot lower, I would have ended up taking Facebook most likely. So I definitely wanted to make sure that they would at least match it. And on the off chance that their offer was significantly lower, I wouldn't have to, the money would be less of a factor in like the overall decision on which one I would end up taking. So that morning, October 17th, I get my offer letter. It matches Facebook to a T. They even give me like a whole like chart where they're like, hey, it matches, like the numbers aren't exact because our performance bonus is higher and it does this and it does, and when you do that over 4 years, it is the same exact total compensation. And I was like, man, that's a lot. That's crazy. I can't believe they fleshed it out that much, but it does make sense that they did. So now y'all are waiting for me to hear some numbers. I know it. And I'm just like teasing y'all. I'm like, oh yeah, they did this. And then they smashed the like button. So Google came out with, initially, it was $113,000 salary, 15% target bonus for like meeting my expectations, 160,000 stock, and 75,000 signing bonus. Sounds kind of similar, huh? And that 15% was like such that it was like 5% higher than Facebook's. So it ended up being the same exact thing. So money really wasn't like a deal breaker in this decision, but I knew that I should at least try to negotiate. You should always try to negotiate. And I knew my chances were very, very slim of negotiating anymore because it was Saturday. Like, there was no way. I had to sign an offer literally the next day. So there I am. Like, oh crap, okay, I'm trying to negotiate with a 1-day deadline. So I messaged my recruiter. I'm like, hey, is there any way that we could try to shake this up a little, like bring the money up a little bit more, whether that be on like stocks, signing bonus, salary, whatever the case may be. I was trying to be as flexible as possible. That way I was more likely to get what I wanted. What I wanted was actually like an extra like just $5,000 per year. So that would look like either $5,000 in salary or $20,000 in signing bonus, since they use like a 4-year model, or a stock increase of $20,000. And I was just trying to be as flexible as possible. That way I could increase my chances of getting what I wanted. But I didn't tell them that I wanted $5,000 extra per year. I told them I wanted $10,000 extra per year. And that's really a strategy that you have to use. Like, they aren't going to give me exactly what I want. And actually, they gave me exactly what I wanted whenever I asked for double what I wanted. So they met me halfway. And then I told them, like, hey, I really like the offer. It sounds great, but I'm not able to sign right here and now with those numbers since I asked for 10K more a year. And they weren't able to bump it all the way up to 10, but when they gave me the updated letter that Sunday night, it had more than they had initially upped the offer. So it actually had $7,500 per year extra. And it was all added to stock, which is like, that's perfectly fine with me. Like, Google stock is really strong, and I'm just glad that they were able to negotiate an already really high offer, and I was really appreciative of that. But yeah, so that is the story of kind of how I negotiated these two companies against each other. Facebook was less willing to negotiate, but their offer was very strong and really high right off the bat. Both companies were great working for. I really enjoyed my time with both of them. And if you find yourself in a place where you have an offer from either one of these companies, you're in a great position. It's hard to negotiate offers that are already this high. So I'm very lucky and glad that they were able to negotiate a little bit. I forgot one crucial piece of information. These are both offers in Skettle. So for whatever that's worth, just thought I would add that in there. As for like benefits and stuff, they're all pretty comparable. Google had a slight edge on benefits as well, and was able to get me a team that I like wanted for sure, or at least like high likelihood of being on a team that I wanted. So that counts for something, and I'll definitely like go over benefits of Google and stuff like that if you guys would like me to in a separate video. So let me know. Let me know. Nobody knows my outro. See ya.